Busi's inside editing our podcast. It's occurred to me that I haven't really mentioned our podcast that often here on the blog. You guys should check it out. This week we talked a little bit about Busi's birthday, trip we took for her birthday. We went to Arizona. Two really cool spots just outside Page, Arizona, or in Page, Arizona. Antelope Canyon and Horseshoe Bend. Really fun trip, really short trip. Left on Monday morning, came back Tuesday night. So yeah, a day and a half of adventure. Shortly after we got back from Arizona, I got an invite to a home game. There hasn't been too many home game scenes here on the blog, but this presented an opportunity to change that. But it wasn't any ordinary home game. It wasn't at a house or a condo. This home game was in a trailer park. And that might sound a little sketchy to you guys, but this is no ordinary trailer park. This is part of something called the Downtown Project, a $350 million project that started in 2012. It was sort of designed to revitalize part of downtown Las Vegas. A lot of it is centered around the East Fremont district. Really cool part of town. It's where Busi and I like to go out if we're gonna go out to a neighborhood bar or something like that. Also some great restaurants. Container Park is a part of Downtown Project. Also part of Downtown Project is the Airstream Park. I got an invite from someone named Erica who watches the blog, so shout out to Erica. Erica's gonna make the blog too. She organizes a poker night occasionally there at the Airstream Park, and also heard from my buddy Michael, who happens to live in the Airstream Park. Cheers. So, had to take these guys up on their offer, brought the vlog along, and Michael was nice enough to give all of us a tour of the Airstream Park. When you think of Las Vegas, often you're not thinking about the word community, but this Airstream Park and really all the Downtown Project is sort of designed around community. Everyone was really friendly, and the poker tournament was a lot of fun. Not exactly high stakes. We were playing $20 buy-in tournament, but unlimited $20 rebuys. I managed to just stay in for the initial $20 buy-in and did not take down the tournament. However, I did finish in second place. Good for $200. This won't be going in my Hendon Mob stats, but happy with my performance to take second place in the Airstream Park rebuy tournament. Finishing in first place, none other than Erica herself, vlog watcher. So congratulations to Erica. We had a fun back and forth heads up battle, and job well done there. There's not a lot of spots to play poker downtown. There's the Golden Nugget, there's Binion's sort of, and then who knows, maybe a third option, the home game at the Airstream Park. All right, I gotta do a couple things here around the house, get some exercise in, trying to prepare for some World Series, get in World Series shape, maybe. And then I think we're gonna head out to Summerlin. I think it's been a little while since we've made an appearance at Red Rock. We've been in Henderson recently. Now we got some downtown vibes in the vlog. Let's keep this change of scenery thing going. Probably head out there, probably head into the 2-5 games. See you there in about 3 hours or so. All right, let me ask you guys a question. How much do you love it when You look down at pocket kings under the gun, raise to 20, you get 2 calls. Small blind 3 bets to 110. You 4 bet to $300. Folds back to the 3 better in the small blind, who jams it all in there for approximately 620, I think, 650. You go ahead and make the call, and he tells you that he has the best hands.
I got the best hands.
You do? It's not fair. How much do you love that? And then how much do you love it when the game breaks approximately 20 minutes after that? Love it, right? You just love it. Can't get enough of it. So yeah, so that happened. Into the game for $1,600, out of the game for about $1,100. Loss of about $500. And yeah, moving on, I guess. It's the problem when you come out to Summerlin, and it's the only property out here that only gets maybe a 1-2-5 game at best. So that game broke. Gonna move on and maybe go look at the Wynn or the Aria or the Bellagio. It's a surprise. You'll know in about 2 seconds. My sizing was actually a little bit off in that Kings versus Aces hand. I didn't realize that he only had like $600 or $650 in his stack. I thought he had the pretty close to the maximum there. So when I sized it to $300 4 bet, that's gonna fold out all of his bluffs usually. So I should have sized a little bit smaller, maybe like closer to 250 or 260. Allow him some perceived fold equity with some of his bluffs, but wouldn't have mattered anyway. Kings into aces, all the money was gonna get in. All right, back at Aria. Probably just gonna play the 2-5 game, although I'm gonna take a look at the 5-10 as well and just see what the lineup looks like. But kind of in a 2-5 mood these past couple sessions, so probably stick to that. I've always thought this valet area is pretty dope with these lights and words and things happening behind me. This is the, what is this? This is the North Valet here at the Aria. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit wiped out today. Could be a little bit boring, but I've been doing this, well, I just started doing this P90X thing and the 30-minute version today. Need to try and get some workouts in, especially leading into the World Series. It's not like it's not that late. I mean, I think it's about 2 in the morning right now. I could have stayed in the game a little bit longer. I was playing the 2-5 game. Can share a few hands before we call it a night here from Aria. Again, fairly straightforward, which is kind of normal in the 2-5. When you're playing low stakes 1-2 and 2-5, you're just gonna have to keep it ABC for the most part. Sure, there'll be the occasional time when you're gonna throw in a twist or a trick into your repertoire there, but for the most part, it's just gonna have to be straightforward poker, and that's what's going to win the money. That's what's going to get the job done here in these games. So just to give an example, right off the bat, maybe in the first orbit that I played, there's an early position limp. There is a raise from the hijack to $15. The button calls, and I looked down at pocket threes in the small blind. I would definitely consider raising this from the small blind here in a tough lineup, because it's going to be tough to get the maximum with a set out of position. And he raised it so small, he only made it $15, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities to make some good money when you flop a set in these games, because just generally people don't like to fold as often. So I think the most value with a small pair is just to call here and take it multi-way. That's what I do. I make the call and the limper calls as well. So 4 ways to a flop, 7-4-3. Rainbow, flop ourselves bottom set. It checks to the initial raiser who bets $30. The button calls. As mentioned, just gonna play straightforward in these 2-5 games. Raise it up to $100. The limper folds, the hijack thinks for a little bit and he folds. And then the button puts in a 3-bet here on the flop. He makes it $250, $255 to go. He's got maybe $600 or $650 total. So I think it's probably best to just flat here, not over rep my hand. And that's what I decide on. I go ahead and flat call there. Just, I don't know how often he's gonna have bluffs in this spot. Maybe a 7-4 that he might find a fold with. Maybe pocket 9s, pocket 10s, pocket jacks. Maybe a slow played overpair pre-flop that is now trying to get the maximum and might find a fold to a 4-bet on the flop. So those are my thoughts. I make the call, and turn is mostly a brick. It's 10 of diamonds, backdoor flush draw, but shouldn't change too much. I check it over to him and he jams pretty quickly, not doing anything other than making the call here. And the river puts up the river is the 8 of diamonds, which puts up a 3rd diamond, but pretty quickly my opponent says you're good. And so that's good news. I just show my hand, which is sort of my standard protocol when someone says you're good. I just go ahead and show, and yeah, we're taking this one down. So again, very straightforward play. Flop a good hand, go for max value as soon as possible. That was basically the biggest hand that I played. There was another hand where I straddled from under the gun. There's another position raised to $40. Call before me, and I looked down at ace jack of diamonds in the straddle. Obviously gonna call here. Try and proceed a little bit cautiously, since there could be some reverse implied odds, but suited ace jack, 40% of a royal flush. Can't fold that, so I call, and there was actually one limper before the initial raiser, so he calls as well. 4 ways to a flop of ace 9-8 rainbow. Checks to the initial raiser. He bets 125. Gonna have to call once here, and then if I face any further aggression, I'm just gonna have to give it up. So that's what I do. I make the call, and the other player behind me folds. Turn is another ace, so interesting card. And when I check it, my opponent checks back. So now I'm feeling much better about the situation than I was earlier. River is another 8, so we basically improved to the nuts here. My opponent only has about $300. So with that stack size, the only reasonable option, I think, on the table is to just go ahead and jam it in there, because if I have jack 10, I don't think any other size makes sense to bluff with. I mean, I guess I could maybe bet $20 or something and get a call from pocket kings, but I go for the max, I bet it all, and my opponent doesn't think for too long before folding. So that one works out, and yeah, just kind of like some little pots here and there. I did get lucky with pocket 6s versus pocket kings, button versus small blind, but small blind only had about 20 big blinds in his stack, so a little bit of run good there, which is always nice. And yeah, for the most part, pretty straightforward. I wish I had more complicated hands to share with you guys, but I do know that some of you guys like to see the straightforward hands as well, and I think that's, again, the general approach to these games, the 1, 2, and 2, 5 games. That's gonna be the approach. That's the straightforward way to approach these games. Again, you'll find some situations that occur, and occasionally there'll be some tougher players in these games, and it's good to have some other weapons at your disposal. But in a mostly recreational lineup, straightforward play is gonna get the job done. Into the game for $1,000, out of the game for $2,180. That's a profit of $1,180 over here, minus the $500 from Red Rock. That's $680 profit on the day. Much better than just losing $500. Maybe another little bit of confidence back on our side. Always good to book another win. Yeah, happy I could share that little downtown experience with you guys as well. All right, I'm exhausted here, and gonna try and get back on the P90X 30-minute version tomorrow. By the way, you guys see this hat? Huh? What do you think about this hat? This is the dad hat, Mugs version, available now. Have you been to a meetup game yet? Maybe you might want a hat, or maybe you just want to get a hat and be there in spirit. Check it out, favorableapparel.com. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all salesy there on you. Just excited about that.